Well, so the first movie you actually made Run Hide Fight?
Run Hide Fight.
But you didn't make that with Daily Wire.
Correct.
They bought it.
Yes.
So this is a movie that you produced.
Yes.
And it's about a young woman and there's a school shooting. So I'm surprised you even got that made in the current environment to be bought by Daily Wire. Like, how does that happen?
Our company paid for the movie ourselves.
Wow.
So we have investors, and they, bet on me. And so what happened was we made the movie. We got, great cast: Thomas Jane, Rhoda Mitchell, Isabel May, who's now the star of 1883, the Yellowstone prequel. And we went and made the movie by ourselves, totally independently. And right as after I made it, I was in Los Angeles and I had a coffee with Ben Shapiro. And I would talk to him about the movie, and he was very excited about it. And at the end of the coffee, I said, let's make movies together. He said, really? I said, yeah, let's do it. He said, well, okay, well, we can help you in the background, but if you put our name on it, you're going to get killed. I said, are you crazy? I'm going to put your name all over it,
I actually want to ask a question about that.
Yeah.
So the Run Hide Fight was produced beforehand,
Yes.
and then they bought it. So then did they have to do press tours for this with the actors? And were the actors hesitant about being involved with the Daily Wire?
So,
like you said, Ben mentioned before, he's like, he even before he asked, said, we'll do it in the background, because he just assumes that they're not going to want to be, that you're not going to want their name involved.
Certainly. We had gotten the movie into Venice, which is next to Cannes and Sundance, the most prestigious film festival in the world. And we got a standing ovation and all that kind of stuff. But when we walked out, our text messages from our publicist started coming in. F, 0 out of 10. How dare you, right? Personal politics, right? All these things. And so I knew we were in big trouble.
Yeah.
So by going with Ben, the movie found its best. By going with Daily Wire, the movie found its best home. That also meant that some of the actors I couldn't ask them to support the movie publicly beyond their comfort zone. And some of the actors supported the movie. Some of the actors supported the movie sort of privately and quietly, and others just sort of tuned out. They're all becoming big stars right now, and they all kind of love it, right? They all kind of, because they knew they were in Venice when we all saw a great movie. Then
standing ovation, you said.
Standing ovation.
Wow.
The fact that they have to worry about it at all is the most disturbing part of all of it.
No, Brett, they don't have to worry about it.
They don't.
If they don't, yes. If they had the
you're both right.
Yep.
They do have to worry about it, but they don't have to. They shouldn't.
I'm saying that as a point. Obviously,
Yeah.
they worry for their careers. I'm saying they shouldn't.
For sure.
They don't have to if they choose not to. These are not, by any stretch of the imagination, impoverished people. Now,
that's right.
It's hard to ask somebody to slash your income by a large percentages. Yeah. I mean, look, I get it. I don't, for a movie like Shut In, I don't know if these people are like A-lister celebrities with worth millions of dollars, but they get paid probably substantially better than, say, a tradesman or someone working at Starbucks, I'd imagine.
They do. We even on Shut In, where we had the whole cast in advance understanding who we were making the movie with. I mean, we all went to dinner before the movie started shooting. There was still an element of, right before the movie started coming out and press time was upon us, people started to get hesitant, right? In one case, a publicist told one of the actors involved in one of our movies that we were QAnon, right? Wow. And that she would have been canceled. This actress would have been canceled right away. Now, maybe that's true, maybe that's not. Our opinion is you suffer through 72 hours of bad tweets, and then the world moves on, right? Yeah, and you made the best movie you've ever made in your career. Isabel May is not the star of 1883 right now because Taylor Sheridan watched Katie and Alexa, or Alexa and Katie on Netflix. He watched our movie, and she's great in it, and now she's a massive star. So, it's a tough thing. I'll never ask anyone to do anything they're uncomfortable with, but I will say, and we'll get into Gina Carano in a minute, working with someone who is totally on board from day one, Oh man, that's great.
Gina's fantastic.
That's just so great.
That's the fact that she was so outspoken the entire time while on Mandalorian, and I'm following her on Twitter, and I'm just like, you just gotta not worry and be yourself and stand up for what you believe in. And when they canceled her, she was just like, I'll find a way. And Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire were like, we're gonna make this work. You got nothing to worry about.
It's a great story. If you don't mind, I'll tell it.
Absolutely.
It's so terrific. So I believe that when someone like Gina has the guts to do what she did, you have to pray that there are people like me and Daily Wire ready to catch you. And that's not fully realized yet. Right? It's not totally, the infrastructure is not all there yet. We're building ours, but there needs to be more. So Gina gets canceled on a Wednesday night at 10 p.m. I text Jeremy Boring, the CEO of Daily Wire, at 10:05. And he texts me right back, Ben and I were just texting about this. I said, dude, keep your phone on tomorrow morning. I'm going to call you. This is going to move very fast. Just please keep your phone on. So I reached out to Gina's agent, who I used to work for. The agent said, yeah, we're dropping her. I said, oh. I said, oh, it's terrible. I said, well, at least give me her manager's phone number. So I reached out to the manager. I'd known him from my LA days, barely, right? We weren't.
Can you say which agency this was? Was it a Big Five? Or?
UTA, United Talent Agency,
wow,
where I
the
used
biggest,
to work.
Right?
Yeah, they're top 3 for sure.
I'm not a fan.
Huge agency. The same agent, by the way, that still represents James Franco, who, by the way, I'd work with in a second.
Love him.
But
James.
But James Franco is more canceled than Gina Carano yet.
Because
one gets dropped and one is not.
The film school stuff about the intimacy course. Yeah.
You know.
James, come.
So,
this can be great.
you know, it's such a joke, right? So I reach out to the manager who I'd known back in LA, say, hey, let's get on the phone. So we spoke immediately. He's like, oh, okay. It's like, we're kind of just, reeling from all this. We were going to sort of take a step back and we're getting calls from Megyn Kelly and Hannity and all this stuff. I said, no. 2 things. 1, say no to all of it. Number 2, you have to move now. You have to trust me. I'm your guardian angel. I'm showing up, Daily Wire, and we are going to do this. Let's go. So the next morning, we got Gina on the phone with Ben himself. We got Jeremy and I on the phone with the manager. We banged out a deal that day. Dallas was in the middle of a snowstorm where I live. And then Friday morning, we announced it on Deadline Hollywood that we did a movie deal with her. And that exploded more than the original announcement. So this is how you fight.
You were right about moving fast. That boosted morale.
By Monday, the story's passed. Nobody cares. It's that fast. So she got fired Wednesday night, 10 p.m. By 10 a.m. Friday morning, the announcement.
And she had
I'm jealous, man. We gotta get Timcast films going.
Oh, we have to.
Yeah, when you're talking about
we're growing,
decentralizing, or basically a new Hollywood, a parallel system. How do you envision that? Because I wonder, Hollywood's centralized. That was kind of the point of it. There's all these big walled boom sound stages and stuff. So do you want to put them all over the place?
Well,
or all in Nashville? What are you thinking?
Definitely, it has to grow an ecosystem, almost taking the role of an old Hollywood studio system. So we would have multiple screenwriters, that we would pay full salaries to, right? They can make more money that way anyway. Full benefits, all this kind of real jobs, writing and directing movies.
Do you think we need to build localized sound stages?
Absolutely. Nashville has a few, and we've used them, and they're pretty good. They've got some really nice ones, but they still don't have one that's competitive with Atlanta or Albuquerque yet.
Okay, what's that going to run? We can talk about that stuff off air, I guess.
Yeah, $500 million.
Whoa. Okay, but we could crowdfund that.
But
for a full ecosystem. I mean, that's Netflix money. So what our move right now is baby steps, right? My sort of emotional gift to Daily Wire in many ways is that I'm going to work on these movies as if my life depends on them, right? Because they can't be bad. If they're bad, we will get shunned, mocked, all this kind of stuff. They're still going to attack us, and they are. There's some amazing articles that came out in the last few days about us, but trying to poo-poo the movies. But these articles exist because they're scared.
Who cares about them?
I love it.
This is what I'm saying. if there's somebody who's like, Ghostbusters 2016 was a great accomplishment, by all means, go watch Ghostbusters 2016. Enjoy it. I'm very happy for you. I'm going to go watch Run, Hide, Fight or Shut In and enjoy myself.
Yeah.
And if you want that, Hollywood, you can do whatever you want. But I'm saying, if they keep going down this path, I think it's very obvious that their system is going to crumble. The gentleman we had on the other day, Stephen, even mentioned that when institutions start getting woke, they start falling apart.
Right.
And he's a guy who has a very establishment worldview on things, very critical of the far right, as you would call it. But even he recognizes media companies are moving left, and once they do, it starts just crumbling. So if Hollywood wants to get woke and go broke, by all means, I'm not going to complain about it.
Oh, let them.
If my neighbor wants to go swimming with alligators, I'm going to be like, I will advise against it. But far be it for me to tell you what risks you can't take. Now, we'll go over here and we'll make some good movies and have some fun and make jokes and not have to worry about being canceled every 2 seconds. And then I think 10 years from now, the work you're doing, the work Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire is doing, is planting a tree whose shade you will actually get to sit beneath, and so will your children.
That is the hope. That is the entire hope. That is what this is all about. It's to create infrastructure and ecosystem for people who are willing to take risks and fight the system, knowing they can do that, get canceled, and come over here and work with us. It's also really important that we make great movies so that this is sustainable. It has to make money, right? So we're making movies that are small budget, big idea, little box, on purpose, but we're growing quickly. I mean, the budgets are already moving up. We're going to get into series, all these kind of things. So it's game on.
It's like it's going to take trailblazers in the writing and the production part too, because like you said, like Gina walks away as an actor. Those same people who have been told that they have to live within the Hollywood ecosystem are going to have to walk away and know and feel strongly enough about the work they create that they believe that script, that show can stand on its own 2 legs no matter where it's put out, not through the perceived legitimacy of Hollywood, but through any form of media that it can come out through. And the story is what elevates it, not the deadlines, not the AV clubs and the establishment press media that make these things seem like they're better than they are.
Yeah.
I think we got to utilize piracy. Game of Thrones was like one of the most pirated shows of all time, and it was also one of the most popular. I think this is not a coincidence.
Piracy is a tricky one. When you're in a transactional business, VOD movies or even theatrical, you're so reliant on that purchase of that movie. When you're in the streaming world, the money's coming in and it's for a bunch of stuff, right? In Daily Wire's case, there's the political folks that are, political members. They're watching the podcast and the political content. There's folks who are simply fans of Ben or Candace Owens, for example. And then there's the people who love the movies. And they're all going into one revenue stream, and it's really working from a financial perspective. So the company is super healthy. It's run like a real Fortune whatever company, a Fortune, however many numbers company. And it's terrific. And you walk in and you cannot believe the feeling of being surrounded by all of these people who, if they don't share your exact same values, they're civically aligned. They have the same goal, which is not to be the other side.
Do you think there's a value at running it at a loss, like selling them for 99 cents a pop and taking
our version
70% loss or something?
Our version of that has been opening night YouTubes. So we play the movies on YouTube one night only. For the first 2 hours. It's only available 2 hours. In fact, if you start at 15 minutes late, you're gonna have to go watch the 15 minutes on Daily Wire's, on their site.
Is there a way that they're going to figure this out financially? Like when we look at we break down box office,
it's already cash flow positive.
Okay, but we break down box offices. Yeah. So when a studio invests $100 million, they put 1.5 times that into marketing. Then they have to look at their return on investment for what they make at the box office. How are they going to be figuring those numbers out when it comes to streaming?
It's actually worse than that. You got to add in foreign sales. You got to add in,
and they only take 60% of the box office, even less if it's in China.
The value 25%. Of who your star is, things like that. All of those pressure points on making a great movie go out the window. So this is as close as you can get to 1969 Easy Rider as I could possibly imagine. I mean, it is Easy Rider. Most people don't know this, but Easy Rider and 5 Easy Pieces and The Last Picture Show and some of these other great movies were all produced by these 3 guys. SBS, and there's a great Criterion collection about their works. And these guys set up their own shop. They had their own deal with Columbia TriStar at the time, and they made these great movies. That's all we're doing here. We're just creating sort of the most creatively unfiltered version of Hollywood absolutely possible today.
I would like to think that once the work starts coming out more frequently and people can see that what they're producing is not conservative media per se, it's just good media, that as culture turns, people come with it and it becomes less stigmatized.
Yeah. And certainly one day we'll be accused of making a truly conservative movie. Like I'd love to make a comedy called Kamala! Exclamation point. You know, maybe
a question mark and exclamation point.
Yeah. I mean, come on. I call it HBO Films in reverse, right? I would love to do that at some point, but not right now.
But it's going to get labeled that way either way.
Sure.
That's what I'm saying. You have to not care that like I said, the deadlines, the AV clubs, all these websites, the shill media sites are going to call it that, just like they label religious films.
Yes.
The way they say, paint all religious films with the same brush.
There was a period where I cared, maybe a few years ago, worried about mainstream press, their reactions. And like I was saying, it's because I felt like we were part of one system together.
Right.
And I didn't want I don't want my neighbor to think bad things about me that don't represent me. Then I started to realize eventually, like, these people aren't our neighbors anymore. Yeah. And it's scary. It's unfortunate. But I'm not interested in trying to convince people who hate me and refuse to listen when I try to be nice to them.
Yeah, I'm actually...
When I've approached many of these people, be it on the ground in Portland at protests or on Facebook, and I'm nice to them, and their response is, I literally don't care what you have to say. F you, you fascist. I'm like, okay, then I'm going to go do my thing over there. You no longer factor in. So when these media outlets say whatever they want, don't care. We're going to build our thing. We're going to do a good job of it. And guess what's going to happen? Like I said, 5-10 years, people are going to be knocking down the door, desperate to get a role with Daily Wire Productions, with your company. And I'll tell you this too. Look at Rumble right now. I advise people when they're like, I want to make a show. I want to do YouTube videos. No, you want to do Rumble videos. Because YouTube has pulled up the ladder behind everybody else. You're getting banned. You don't know what you can or can't say. Live streamers get too popular too fast, they take you down. Start on Rumble. You've got more market opportunity. This means in LA, there's going to be writers, there's going to be production assistants, producers, smaller staff, APs, whatever. And they're going to say, I would rather move to Nashville because I know there's a great opportunity with Daily Wire and the stuff they're producing. And it's freeing. But more importantly, the market opportunity. Hollywood is such a monolith. It's so hard to break in. Yeah. You hear all these stories about people sending a pizza into producers. When they open it, there's a headshot. Don't even worry about it. There's a real opportunity now with what you guys are doing over at Daily Wire and your productions. So why bother with trying to climb an ivory tower when you can go knock on the front door of people who said, we want to do great stuff and we want to make something new. Here's your opportunity.
You were telling us the story beforehand about Tom Cruise negotiating his own contract for risky business. Okay, can you explain that story again? Because I want to pull back to that.
Yeah, there was a fantastic article on Daily Mail today interviewing Tom Cruise's first manager from when he was 18 to 22 or 3. Yeah. And Tom Cruise, when he was engaging on risky business, sent an email. Sent a letter to his agent at CAA, telling her what to counter in the negotiation, the fee down to the size of the trailer, everything involved. And it was just fascinating. And it just goes to show you what a movie star truly is.
And so the modern day business savvy actors, writers, directors are going to start see the tides turning, see things shift, and they're going to see that Nashville is just as much of a opportunity for them as it would be to go straight to California. And you would hope that in there's going to be some script, a couple of scripts here and there that are going to be so good and they're going to stand out so well that it will be that initial cultural shift, that touchstone that pushes things to to bring it back this way.
Absolutely, and those floodgates have flung open. Right, I'm getting a phone call almost every day now from an actor, a director, a writer. Major players, people who have showrun, that's the head producer on a TV show, head writer of some of the biggest TV shows, just saying, I'm so sick of this. Like, please, like, what's going on up there? What are you doing? And then also, I think we've become very inspirational to a younger generation of filmmakers I have this rule. I answer every email. So send me an email, dallas@bonfirelegend.com. I will write you back. And, you know, I try to respond to every single email quickly. Sometimes it takes me a few days, but I want to encourage these filmmakers, these young people who understand culture at that generation better than I do, to create. And hopefully they can bring me the right project.
I guess we need to start building tutorials of how to use sound equipment and lighting equipment.
That's all over YouTube for sure.
Good. Have you looked into starting a new union? I'm kind of fed up with SAG. I was thinking about a web actors guild like WAG or something where we could decide not to screw people over, but also that you don't have to pay them $1,400 a day or whatever.
The unions are sort of separated into the crew and then what we call above the line, actors, writers, and directors. Those three have their own guilds: SAG, WGA, DGA, and then the crew is under IATSE. And it's a really challenging relationship for low-budget independent producers to work with these unions. They have, for the most part, a reason to exist for the Netflixes of the world. When it comes to $1 million movie, it's very hard to engage with them. What I think the trick is if we're going to sort of go further out into the woods on these movies and really make them on our own, we have to be good stewards, all right? We have to pay people fairly. We have to provide opportunities. The other thing is, like, especially with the stunt actors, their insurance is through SAG. So if they get hurt doing a stunt, and if you've seen any of my movies, there are tons of stunts in every one of them. Someone dies in every movie. And it's like, you know, if these people get hurt, they need the insurance to protect their families.
Definitely.
And still no Oscar for stunts.
Could we set up a whole, there should
point.
be.
Good point.
That's a good point, dude. Especially best part of movies continue.
In today's day and age, where stunts make up such a huge percentage of the tentpole films that we see, and they get no recognition for it whatsoever.
Oh, brilliant!
Great
idea.
That's a great idea. Instead, why don't we create our own Oscars? And stunts will be the last. The last award.
Let's do it. Remember
the Wireys?
They did like the what was the YouTube video award ceremonies they started doing.
The Webbies. Or
Webbies. Let's
the
do
Benjamins.
That. And then like VidCon and all that. Let's just start like a new
in Nashville.
Movie.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yes. I'm not even. You know what we do need. So, are you familiar with VidCon?
Yeah.
There was a year where a bunch of YouTubers with big followings showed up because they're political commentary, cultural commentary, and they're shunned. But I'll tell you my story. I actually had a big talent agency reach out to VidCon. This was back when I was working for Disney, when at the ABC company, and they were like, "Hey, Tim Pool is a streaming journalist. We'd love to get him involved." And they said, "Nope, don't care, won't do it." They end up doing journalism panels with people who aren't journalists and have no followings. And so I'm just like, this is an industry insider game. If you're a friend of the people who run it, they'll claim you're a journalist and put you on a panel for which you have no expertise and have you talk to a bunch of people. It's just trash. So you know what? We do need our own multimedia, video, social media conference that actually talks about merit, because that's what their whole system is about. Authoritarianism. The woke multicultural democracy is a religious hierarchy. If you are part of the party, you get privileged access.
It'd be cool if the crowd decides who gets to go speak at it. But then you got to avoid popularity contests, so there's going to be some sort of calculation.
That doesn't work, because you need if the people all knew who say you were, then why would they need to see you go speak if they know who you are because they've heard you speak? The issue is, if we're doing a big event, it's to introduce people to experts in certain fields and certain industries, to tell them about what's going on and how here's what you should learn. Here's the information I can give you. The problem with VidCon is they have they bring on this woman who has like 1,000 Twitter followers who doesn't really work in journalism. And then they have her speak to an audience of people as an expert. I'm like, why don't you actually just reach out to people who are experts and invite them to come? So that is the woke authoritarianism. If you are a part of the cult, they'll just put you in a privileged position and claim you're an expert. Makes no sense. But it's exactly what these regimes have done in the past. People who aren't farmers are given farms. We need meritocracy. Someone who's got proven skills, who's worked in the industry, will be invited to come speak and share their knowledge the way it used to be.
Remember, they hate meritocracy.
Right.
They hate the idea of meritocracy.
Well,
that's exactly it.
You hit on it, though, because it used to be a situation where we were all in a respectful relationship with each other and the other sides, and that is gone. These people hate you. I say that all
with
the
a smile
time.
on your face.
These people, Hollywood hates you. See, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about you and everyone who doesn't just, sort of just cave to their absolute woke religion.
Just to add to that, I think they hate everyone.
That's the elite part of the elite.
They hate themselves.
But here's
hating everything around them.
But here's where it gets weirder. I get phone calls from my friends who are still inside the system, trapped, right? And they're having to go to their sessions and their biases trainings and things like that. And it is they have to play ball because they're getting paid so much money that to lose that salary, right? It's the freedom scales.
So the
right?
money holds them hostage.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's the only way they can get a movie made. They don't know how to come out and risk it all and all this kind of stuff. But they're starting to crack a little bit, right? It's exciting, right? It's exciting to see it.
What you guys are doing is going to create a position where Hollywood will be forced to mingle, to cross over. You're going to have the latest film that Daily Wire acquired is Hyperions, right?
Hyperions,
Carrie Elwes.
One of my favorite actors of all time.
When I saw
Princess Bride, what's up?
No, seriously,
I love that movie.
When I saw the tweet come out with the trailer. And I'm like, Daily Wire got a Carrie Elwes film. That is impressive. He's fantastic. Sooner or later, Hollywood's going to say, if people are finding opportunity with this other new emerging, film industry, we're not going to be competitive if we put constraints on them that the Daily Wire guys don't. So if the issue is right now, someone can choose to do a movie with you guys, and your position is, we'll always work with you. And Hollywood threatens them. They're going to say, maybe I just go where it's easier and less stressful. Hollywood will be forced to be like, no. We won't blacklist you. We need your talent too. That's the market competition you guys are bringing. That's what we need to see.
When I was in Hollywood, I worked with folks on the left and folks on the right. Tons of them, right? The folks on the right never had an issue working with folks on the left. The reverse was so painful. It was just constant complaining and this and that, and everything was a problem. I remember coming in to work one day after Trump was elected, and half the office was crying, right? And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, something like I don't understand this, right? I don't even identify with this behavior, and so then it took me a little while to catch up to where I was supposed to be, which is, my optimized version now, which is hopefully, making movies with the Daily Wire for a decade plus. I'd love to, I'm obviously considering moving to Nashville and being a really even a bigger part of it than I am now, but I'm having a blast. And it's so important to do this now because I didn't grow up as a 13-year-old, wanting to run, produce independent movies that I'm producing now. I thought I was going to be running Paramount. I thought I was going to be the president of production of Paramount, like my idol Robert Evans. Kid stays in the picture.
Well, you technically will be.
Yeah.
It just won't be called Paramount.
That's correct.
It will be a major studio producing some of the biggest films in the world, and it'll be called something different.
I thought the same thing. I was like, I'm going to be Brad Pitt. And then I got just that sexuality gross to me, and I was like, I gotta bail on this.
Ian was in a Super Bowl commercial.
We can do it. Yeah, we can become the biggest thing on earth. It's just not the way it seemed.
Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to watch live, you can check out this channel Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. And don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, and if you want more unfiltered and uncensored content with all of these guests, go to timcast.com and become a member. All of these guests you know and love in exclusive segments on our website where we are unrestricted in what we talk about, so you'll definitely not want to miss it. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you all next time.